GoPro has officially announced the new GoPro MAX, the 360 immersive camera for capturing everything, as well as the HERO8 Black with some new mods that go with it, these modular things that make the camera super awesome. But if you're in the market for the GoPro, which one is for you? Well, stick around and we're gonna talk about it. All right, in this camera comparison, what we're gonna do is we're gonna compare last year's models and this year's models as well. So which one is for you? Let's check it out. Let's dive into it, starting off with price. The HERO7 Black has now been reduced to $329.99, and the new HERO8 Black is at $399.99. So there's your price differences there for the action cams, the standard action cams, where the 360 cameras, the Fusion, you can't buy it from GoPro anymore, but you can find it floating on the internet somewhere for $299, and the Max is coming in at $499, the most expensive camera. Technically, it's 3 cameras in one, is what they're marketing it as. You have a front camera or a back camera, and you could shoot either one of those, so that's 2 cameras, or your third camera is your 360 camera where you record everything with it. So that's the price point there. Coming in at number 2, we're gonna talk about megabits per second. But before we get to megabits per second, let's talk about SD card slots. Traditionally, with the action cams, there's 1 micro SD card slot. Still the same for the HERO7 Black and the HERO8 Black, but with the Fusion, they changed it up. When they were recording 360 camera, 1 camera on each side, the Fusion had 2 micro SD card slots. Where this year's GoPro MAX, the new 360 immersive camera, we have 1 micro SD card slot for a 360 camera. Traditionally, with the Fusion, you would record the front camera and the back camera, 1 to each card. Then in post, you have to take that footage, stitch it together to get 1 full final video piece, and then you can edit off of that. With Fusion, it actually edits inside of the camera. So that's an upsell for me, I would say, is that it kills that part of the workflow. It makes sharing your videos more efficient and faster and easier. The thing I like about the 360 camera is that you can reframe later in post. Using your phone, using the GoPro app or the new desktop GoPro app, you could actually take the 360 footage and reframe keyframes of where you want the camera to be looking at the footage at each time, and it'll blend that together in the end. That's what I really like about the 360 cameras. But enough about the 360 cameras. Next on our list, let's talk about megabits per second. You don't have to know what megabits per second is, but you have to know that the higher the number of megabits per second that it's recording, the higher quality of footage that you are getting. So here's where it gets tricky. Remember last year's GoPro HERO7 Black? Really great camera, the quality is great, but all of that footage, the maxed out version of it, is at 78 megabits per second. That's kind of like the threshold, I feel like, is because that already looks pretty good. It actually gets crispier when you get 100 megabits per second, and that's what the HERO8 packs. So the HERO7 Black is at 78 megabits per second. Keep that number in mind, 78 and 100 with the HERO8 Black, which is a really good quality when you start getting the little specks, lines, you can tell in the lines. It just, 100 megabits per second makes a huge difference. But let's jump over to the 360 cameras. With the Fusion, with each SD card, micro SD card that you would record on, each of those cards would actually record at 60 megabits per second. So for the 360 cameras with the Fusion, you have 2 micro SD card slots that are recording at 60 megabits per second. Technically, that's a total of 120 megabits per second. I don't look at it that way. I still look at it as 60 megabits per second. Now with the Max, it's recording 1 video file at 78 megabits per second, the same as the HERO7 Black in the 360 realm. So megabits per second, the higher the number, the higher the quality. All right, next on my list of things to look at is the new frameless mounting that's introduced with the Max and also the HERO8 Black. So looking at the traditional action camera, you would have to have a mounting frame to go around this, and then you can mount it to something to use. With the Max and also the HERO8 Black, you don't need a frame around it because there's frameless mounting with folding fingers. Next, I want to talk about something that isn't really talked about too much. It's the GP1 chip. The GP1 chip was introduced with the HERO7 Black. It sticks around for the HERO8 Black as well as the Max. But with the Fusion, there is actually a third-party chip inside of it. Now, the thing with this to think about is manufacturers, device manufacturers and technology manufacturers out there have had better results, in my opinion, of building the hardware and the software together. Where here with the Fusion, they had a third-party chip, so they had to make their software work to that. But with the Max, you don't have to worry about that because they manufacture the chip as well as the software. Next on our list, that's huge, let's talk about video compression. We talked about how the Fusion records two micro SDs at 60 megabits per second, and the Max shoots at 78 megabits per second. So that is the megabits per second, but what about the compression? What about the video compression? Fusion records with the traditional H.264, HERO7 Black, HERO8 Black, and the Max all shoot in HVEC or H.265. What does that mean? It means that there's still a high video quality at a smaller file size compression. So when you're shooting lots of video, file size is huge because you don't want to eat up all of your disk space. So there you have it. Those are my spec comparisons. There's actually a wider list of things that you can use to compare. You can check it on GoPro's website. I've actually also created a document myself that you can download for free in the link below. It's the 2019 GoPro comparison chart because I was trying to figure out which camera would be better. For me, it's a toss-up between the HERO8 Black and the Max because they're newer. Because they have better specs and because they have a better workflow to them, a faster workflow to them. But I'm probably leaning more towards the Max because I'm a family man. I have kids, and when we're on family trips or on the weekends or things, I want to be part of the videos too. I want to have the 360 camera, hold it out there or mount it somewhere and be able to frame it later so I'm in the videos as well. So I'm going to give that a shot. The Max starts shipping next week. HERO8 Black starts shipping today. So do me a favor, hit subscribe because I'm going to be doing reviews on both the HERO8 Black and the Max in the coming weeks here when the cameras get here. So check it out. Check out the link below again for the GoPro comparison chart. Also, I have a new podcast out. It's Crossing Paths with Roger Sang. I'd love for you to join us. Find it wherever you listen to podcasts. But lastly, I want to know what camera is for you. Which camera are you planning on getting? Are you going to get a GoPro? Are you going to get the Osmo Action? What's your jam? What's your recipe there? Let me know in the comments below, and I'll talk to you soon, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.